Thank you all for joining me today. We're going to be working on practicing 2-point perspective. So let's get started. Okay, so we have spoke a little bit about 2-point perspective. We know that we got to have 2 vanishing points on 2-point perspective. And as usual, we're going to start with a horizon line. So what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and kind of split this thing into thirds. So I want to put my horizon line over here on the top third. And then we need our vanishing points. So in reality, usually, depending on how large you're drawing, if you're drawing something that's going to kind of fill the page, oftentimes your vanishing point in reality is going to be somewhere off your paper. So whenever I taught college, a lot of times when we would go outside to draw, I would notice the students would take their extra pencils and they would stab them in the ground where their vanishing point was, and then they would run their ruler from that vanishing point. So what I would recommend is that you put your vanishing points as far as you can to the outside edges of the paper. Okay? And I think that's going to help you out, and you're going to get a more realistic perspective this way. We've also spoke about 2-point perspective usually being on a corner. Because when you have a corner, you're going to have one wall going away from you in one direction and one wall going away from you in the other direction. And the whole reason this works is the further things go away from you, the smaller they appear. So one thing's going to vanish in one direction. The other wall is going to vanish in the other direction. So you're going to have 2 vanishing points. So we're going to start our drawing today with the corner of our building. So I'm going to think about where I kind of want this on my paper. I kind of want to follow the rule of thirds. I want it somewhere around a third. So I'm going to have to find that place where I want to put my corner of my building. Once I get my corner, I'm going to go ahead and start laying my building in. Once we get the corner, I'm going to go ahead and start at the top and run it back to our vanishing point. Now I'm going to run it all the way because I want you guys to be able to see what I did. Okay. And then I'm going to come here and close it in. So the walls are going to be parallel to each other. This wall is not going to get crooked just because it's going further away, right? So it's going to be pretty well. And we can also use our pencil as a measuring stick, right? There we go. So that's pretty much parallel. And then I can come in and erase what I don't need. Now I'm going to leave a little trace of what we were doing here so you can kind of see what we did. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Then I'm going to figure out where I want this to end. Once again, I want it to be parallel. All right. And once again, get rid of things I don't need. All right, so now that we've got this, we want to go ahead and get rid of the horizon line in the building. I can't see through a building to see where the sky meets the land. So all this would be, I wouldn't be able to see this. Once again, I'm going to leave it slightly visible so that you guys can see what I did. Now, we're going to have a few minutes to do this, and we'll move on to the next step. For the next step, we want to go ahead and put in windows. So what I want to do, I want to go ahead and my windows are going to be parallel with my corner. They're not going to be crooked just because they're further away. They're still going to be straight. So I'm going to figure out where I want to start them. And I'm going to draw a faint line. Actually, I'm going to draw a darker line so that you can see it on the video. But you will draw a faint line, okay? Same thing on this side. I'm going to decide where I want it to go to. I'm going to draw it longer than I think I'll need it. Then I'm going to go to the top of this corner here and I'll line it up with the vanishing point. All right. Same thing here. I'm going to go to the bottom of the window and line it up with the vanishing point. Okay. Now I have a couple more things to do. We're going to make these a bunch of multi-paned windows here. So we're going to have a bunch of windows here separated out by a grid. And so what I got to do, I got to decide how wide I want my windows to be. So one thing, I want my windows to get smaller as they go further away. So I'm going to say something like that. I'll go with those second lines. Make sure that it is parallel to this line over here. All right, my poor ruler is so beat up. Guys, just forgive me for my ruler. You guys might have a ruler like this. So, as you see, each window gets a little smaller. I might even move this one over just a little. I might thicken this up a little. Let me go ahead and move that part where it looks like a dog chewed my ruler. I'll move that over so I don't keep getting that little ridge in my drawing. Looks like the building went through a nuclear holocaust and now all the windows are warping. All right, so there we go. Now each window gets a little smaller as it goes back. Now I need to decide how many windows I'm going to have. Now I can measure this out and I can divide it 100% equally between each increment on my thing, which I can almost do. See, I've got almost 5 perfect increments here. What I'm doing is I'm splitting the difference. I think that'll be fine. And mark each one on each centimeter. And then I'm going to run my line from there to the vanishing point. I might split the difference a little right here. So I might come a little bit above the line right there. And then I might come a little bit below this line right here to kind of just to even them out a little. All right. We got 2 more. So every one of these windows has to vanish back to the vanishing point, right? So now we've got some really believable windows here. Step 2, I'm going to put in a different kind of window on this side. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to finish this, and then we'll move on to the 3rd step. Okay, for our 3rd step, we're going to put in a different set of kind of windows over here. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to make sure I'm parallel with my line here. I'm going to draw a rectangle that'll help me figure out where I want everything to be. To close it off. Bigger than I think I'll need it because I want to make sure I catch it with my lines. But really it's the vanishing point that's going to determine where this window ends on this left side, right? Okay, so now I've established the area where I want my windows to be. Once again, I have to decide how wide they're going to be. So I'm going to make them more and more narrow as they go back. The further things go away from us, the smaller they appear. That's the whole reason perspective works. This part of the building is closer than this part. This part is closer than that part. This part is closer than that part, and so on and so forth. And that's why it just keeps on shrinking back, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say, mark out where I want them to be. That way I make sure I get it right before I start drawing all these lines. So this one I'm going to make about 3 windows. Okay. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to divide them up. So I want to decide how big I want my windows to be. So I'm going to say something about like, if that's the middle, if that's somewhere around the middle point here, somewhere right in here, I'm going to say I want my space to be something like this. Same thing over here. Okay, so now I've got my windows. I'm going to erase the things I don't need. Once again, I don't have to draw my lines all the way out. I can save myself some time erasing. I'm just doing this for your benefit. I want the lines. I want to show you exactly how I'm doing this. I want you to be able to see a visible trace, a little bit of it left. I'm trying to get rid of enough of it so that you see what we want, what we envision here, but I want to keep enough of it to let you know what I did in the past. All right. I accidentally got rid of a little too many of my lines here. I'm going to go ahead and put my horizon line back in. I meant to throw my pencil, by the way. I meant to do that. It was deliberate. It was deliberate. Okay. So there we go. Our horizon line is back in place. Now we have our individual windows. Let's go ahead and put in a door. So once again, I want it to be parallel with the corner. The door's not going to get crooked just because it's going further away from us. Things get smaller the further they go away. They don't get more crooked, okay? I'm going to make it maybe about as wide as this window. I don't know if I'm going to like that. This might create too much of a tangent. I'm just going to do it anyway. So here's one time where I didn't increase my line up. Now I needed to. So we'll go from the top of this to the vanishing point. Very faint line. And then once again, this door, I want it to be a little wider than the door beside it. At this point, there's not going to be a huge difference. It's not that much further away, but it is a little further away, so I want it to be a little wider. These are our double doors. All right. Erase the lines I don't need. Once again, leaving a faint little trace, just for your benefit. Now, we got a couple more things here. Let's put in a sidewalk. Let's say we want the sidewalk to be about this wide. Let's say we want it to come to about there. And we do want it to be the exact same width. All right. So let's just say it does vanish off into the distance over here, but let's say over this side, it wraps around the building. So what I want to do, I want to go ahead and measure how wide this sidewalk is. So let's go ahead and say we want it to end somewhere around here and go back behind the building. All right. So if I measure this, my sidewalk's going to be about that wide. Something like that. At this point. And then we're just going to run it behind there. Are we going to do any perspective with it? No. Because it's not going any further away from us, is it? So it's not going any further away from us. It's just going straight across. So we don't have to put any perspective lines, right? Because this side's just as close as this side. Then finally, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in and put another little building down here. This is going to be our little storage shed, okay? This one is pretty easy because it's half above the horizon line and half below the horizon line. So it's a pretty easy building. This one's going to be a little more complicated. This one's going to be below the horizon line. It's going to be on this side of the sidewalk. So let's go ahead and start once again, just like we did before, with the corner. We still want it to be straight up and down. So we want to make sure it's parallel. Once again, we want to run the sides. This side goes back to that vanishing point. Okay. Now I'll go ahead and close it off. Oops. All right. Now we want to run this side back to this vanishing point. Pretty simple so far, right? Once again, we'll close the building off. It's going to be kind of a long, skinny building here. Now we have to do the top. So I'm going to go ahead, maybe just kind of color this in so you guys don't get confused. This is my sidewalk. I'll get rid of the lines I don't need as well. That way you guys don't get confused. I want a clear image of what you're trying to do here. Okay, so this is what we got so far. We have the right wall vanishing back to the right vanishing point. The left wall is going away from us in the direction of back and left, so it's going to go to the left vanishing point. The right going to the right. How do I put a top on this? Right now it's just two walls. How do I close this in? So this is how we close it in. It looks complicated, but there really is no wrong way to do it. So I want to make sure you know that. So let me get rid of the lines we don't need so you're not confused. Still just left a little hint of what's going on here. Same for this side. Okay, so I want to close in this top. If I want to make this line right here that closes in this top, we're going to have to make a line over here and a line over here to close in the top. If I want to make this line, can I do it from this vanishing point? No, there's absolutely no way I can go to this vanishing point and make this line this way. So what I have to do, let me look at this side. Can I make this line from this vanishing point? Yes. All right. All right, so that's our top of our building here. Now, I did make a tangent here on accident. You know, that might happen. That might happen. If it does, there are things we can do to fix it, and I'll show you. So I'll leave it in the demo. Can I make this line right here from this vanishing point over here? No, the ruler's going the completely wrong way, right? So I can make this line over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to make my, I'm going to make my building bigger so that I can get rid of that tangent. I'll go through the process again just to show you. Right? So there's nothing to it. You can't do it wrong. I'll just do another one right here just to show you again, since this one was kind of strange. We'll put a little building right here. Make this wall over here. All right. Close them off. Close them off. That was a little crooked, wasn't it? There, I like that a little better. Now, once again, can I make this line and close the roof in from this finishing point? No. I must go to this one. Can I close this one off from this vanishing point? No, it goes completely the wrong way. So I must close it off from this direction. Right? So all you need is the one, just the one building. You don't have to do more than one. Let me go ahead and fix this. That's bothering me to no end. All right, so it's a really awkward building. It's an awkward view of a building, so it's not really that awkward. It's a little awkward because I got a little crooked there, but you guys just squint your eyes and pretend like I didn't do that. Okay, I'm an expert. There we are. So you need step 1, the building, and the vanishing points and the horizon line. You need step 2, the grid of windows. You need step 3, the individual windows and double doors. Step 4, our sidewalk. Step 5, our smaller building completely below the horizon line. All right, we can put a door on this one if we want to. You can do all kinds of things if you want to this. So I can come over here and kind of put in some of the streaks and stuff in here to make it look like these are real windows. All right. You can come in here and fill them all in, do whatever you want to do. You can add a bunch of value to this, and I'll count everything you do extra as bonus, and that can be all kinds of things. So I can come in here and I can start coming here and put in a landscape here in the background. Okay, so we can put some trees back here, maybe have a little bit of a light source if we want. We can put in a light source over here. We can shade one side of our building in. We can put in maybe a UFO. I don't know, maybe it's picking up a person. Help me!
I said help me.
I'm just kidding. All right, so maybe this side's going to be lighter because it's getting more sun. This side's going to be darker because it's underneath, right? We're going to put in our light source here again. It's a gradient. Remember what we learned about gradients? The further that light goes further it goes around, the less the light can actually bend around to it, right? So I have a little gradient over here too on this side. All right, and we'll have cast shadows. So once again, anything you want to do to add a little something extra to it, I'll give you extra credit for anything that you do here. But the main thing is that you get those basic steps for our perspective. Okay, you can also include an extra building if you'd rather do that, like I did, because I kind of made a tangent up here and that kind of ruined the example. I didn't want to confuse the steps, so I did another one down here. I really want you to understand this, right? Really crucial. So once again, the concepts are the further things go away from us, the smaller they appear. Eventually, they'll go so far away they vanish. The place where they vanish to, those points, are vanishing points. We have where the sky meets the land, the horizon line. And then we have the further things go away from us, the smaller they get, right? So they got to go to those vanishing points. All right, so this is where we want to end up at the end of this little demonstration, at the end of this project. This is where you want to be. Something like this. Like I said, if you get done early, I know some of you working alongside this video, you're going to do really, really well. Some of you, this is your forte. This is what you're good at. This is what you have a kind of a natural propensity to. So some of you will get done sooner than others. If you want some extra bonus points to kind of make up for some things, go ahead, maybe put some value on it. Just have some fun with it. Finish it out. And I will see you guys next time.